So here you go guys, it's the long awaited how to rebuild Ford Racing Puma Alcon front brake calipers. Hope you enjoy this video and hopefully you'll learn a lot from it. So firstly, we're just going to take a look at why the Alcon calipers need rebuilding so regularly and why they pose so much of an issue to Racing Puma owners. This is actually a slightly earlier prototype model of the caliper, which has some very slight differences to the main caliper, but we can explain the principles in here anyway. So probably the biggest one is actually, if you look inside the caliper here, unlike most modern brake cylinders, they have a dust shield which comes out over the outside of this. All this has is a main seal and a scraper seal inside, so actually when you've got all the salt and the crud on the road, gets in there and then starts to jam the pistons up after a relatively short period of time. The other thing is you've got a lot of dissimilar metals in here. You've got steel bolts holding aluminium casings together. You've got steel fixings for the bridge pipe and the bleed nipples, again going into aluminium, which causes problems. The other main issue is, as you can see, we've got some stainless steel pad rails in here which hold the pad in place, stop it slipping too far forwards. And actually what happens with these is the water gets underneath. When the calipers were made, they weren't painted underneath these, so they start to corrode with aluminium corrosion and actually push and bend the pad rails up, which then stops the pads retracting properly in the calipers. So hopefully that explains a good reason why we need to do this quite regularly. A lot of owners have been asking for this video, so let's crack on. So here we go, good old Alcons. These have been refurbished previously by another owner, and I've given them a lick of paint, but never had the nipples replaced, and really sort of in need of a good clean up and refurb. But the Alcon brakes on the Ford Racing Puma really are excellent. There's a 41 and a 38mm piston in there. Stopping power is immense on what's a very lightweight car, so they really do the job, but we want them in tip-top condition, so here we go. One of the most difficult things on rebuilding the calipers is actually splitting the two shells. You get the bolts actually corroding into the caliper itself, so it's actually useful if you can to try and crack them off while they're on the car, where you've got a bit more purchase and leverage. There we go, those ones are cracked off really easily, but I know the bolts have been replaced on this side. On the other side, I think it's a different matter. So let's just crack the brake line off. So we have this nifty little tool that's made by one of the previous club members, which you can insert whilst trying to extract the pistons. Stops the pistons blowing all the way out, hopefully allowing you to get them all out. Normally I use a hydraulic pump to remove the pistons, but I know this has been rebuilt before, so I'm hoping I might be able to get away with just with an air hand pump for it. As you can see, when they were rebuilt by someone else, the dust seal here was not put in properly, and you see it just poking out the side of the piston, which isn't going to be helping things. So let's see how we get on. So there we go, all the pistons stripped out. As you can hopefully see, a few of the scraper seals incorrectly installed by the previous owner, so those not really doing much good in the calipers. Okay, so on the bridge pipes you've got pretty much zero chance of getting these out without damaging them, so you're best to basically cut them off. Obviously new ones are going in afterwards, and then we can use a socket to get them out and get a good purchase on it. So hopefully now this will be able to loosen. I have had some of these threaded in the past. There she goes, beautiful. You can actually see in there some of the corrosion where the pad rail nut has actually gone into the aluminium. Always hammer those on to get them on nice and tight. And hopefully now we can split the caliper in half. So there you go, first caliper splitting it to its 2 halves. Need to take the pad rails out. You can see some bending on some of those, straighten those up and clean them, which hopefully should come out reasonably easily, and we'll have a look at that later on. Unfortunately the other one has not played ball quite so much, and that's got 2 snap bolts in which are going to need drilling out. Okay, so while I'm waiting for a special tool to come to try and remove the rounded Allen bolts in the one caliper, I thought I'd get on with paint stripping them and just removing the pad rails in the one that I can remove, so here we go. So unfortunately rain stopped play outside, but that means we've had to move inside into the porch. So I'm just looking at it here, it's given it plenty of time for the paint stripper to raise the old paint, so let's get taking this off. Okay, so now to drill out that troublesome bolt that snapped off. You can see it's snapped just below the surface. I've got some amazing drills which I had off a guy at the NEC, which apparently are made from some amazing material, but these bolts are very, very hard. I've tried normal high-speed steel drills before and they just don't cut it. So this one, very special to do this job. Okay, so let's put the helicoil in. So first we're going to tap it. Tap in nice and straight. So there we go, that's the shells all stripped, ready for painting and reassembly, which I'll show you in the next video. I've done a little bit more work on these, adding a little bit of JB weld to where the corrosion was, just to build it up. It doesn't really take any structural strength here, it just sits behind the pad rails. So I look forward to the assembly in the next video. See you soon.